Welcome to the Clarksville Now candidate forums for the November 2024 elections. My name is Chris Smith. I'm editor-in-chief at Clarksville Now, and today we feature U.S. Congress District 7. The candidates are Congressman Mark Green and former Nashville Mayor Megan Barry. Joining us today is Megan Barry. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for inviting me up and having me on.
Yeah. So talk to us a bit about your qualifications to serve in Congress.
Sure. So, I was the former mayor of Nashville, but before that, I was also on the Metro Council. I served 2 terms as a Metro Council at large. And during that time, it was a nonpartisan position. And one of the things that I think is really important about when I get elected to Congress is being able to go up there and work in a bipartisan fashion. Congress isn't working. We need to get things done. And the only way we're going to do that is if we all talk to each other and come together to pass meaningful legislation.
Let's talk about some of the issues in the race. Congress has been trying to hammer out a solution on immigration for, I think, decades, probably.
I think you're right.
What are your priorities there, and what do you think it will take to reach some sort of solution?
So Congress is the one that actually owns how we solve this problem. And recently, we had the opportunity to vote on a bipartisan Border Security Act, which would have brought resources and things to pass that would make us safer and also our immigration system better. My opponent did not support it, and I think it's just one more illustration of the fact that Democrats and Republicans are trying to work together to pass meaningful things. And immigration, we haven't touched it for 30 years. And this bill would have revised the system. It would have provided a legal pathway to become citizen. And it really would have strengthened our borders. And I think when I think about that opportunity, I think about how fentanyl is flowing through into our country. This bill would have provided drug trafficking machines, or machines that would have prevented the drug trafficking with fentanyl and targeted our points of entry. Even the Border Patrol Union supported this. It would have provided more border security. And from my perspective, it's just another example of where Congress has failed, but not because we aren't putting things out there. It's because we can't come together and get the support we need. And my opponent is one of the people who voted against it.
Thank you. When it comes to Ukraine and Russia, this has been something that people thought was going to be just a brief engagement, it seemed like, and it's drawn out and at times become political. What do you think the United States should be doing in regard to Ukraine and Russia?
Well, I believe that we have to support our allies, and I think Ukraine is an ally that we have to continue to support. Our support is critical. We have to defend against Russian aggression. So far in Ukraine, there have been successes. They have won the Battle of Kyiv. They've reclaimed more than half of the territory that Russia has seized. And I support continuing to make sure that we provide them what they do need and those resources. We recently, Congress voted on a supplemental to provide additional resources for Ukraine, and once again, my opponent did not support it.
Talking about healthcare, again, another big issue that's been weighing on people's minds. Are you satisfied with the current healthcare situation in America, and what do you see as ways to improve it, or what would you like to see done?
Well, Tennessee right now leads the nation in hospital closures per capita since we didn't expand Medicaid. That's $22 billion that we have left on the table, and 8 counties in this district only have 1 hospital and 3 have none. So access to health care is the first step. You actually have to be able to get the health care that you need. There are bills in Congress that would expand our rural health care access, and I would support them. The Rural America Health Corp Act, as well as the Save America's Rural Hospital Act. They have bipartisan support, but again, my opponent has not signed on to either one. I would sign on. There are also federal policies out there that can help, but one of the key things would be for Tennessee to take the Medicaid expansion. When my opponent was an elected official in the state Senate, he did not support expanding the Medicaid dollars. Again, as I said, we've left $22 billion on the table. I believe that our veterans especially should be treated and given the care that they need. And We need to make sure that happens. There are funding out there's funding out there for health care and mental health care for veterans, as well as the PACT Act that recently was passed that provided funding to veterans who were exposed to burn pits overseas and got cancer from that. Again, my opponent did not support the PACT Act. I think there's lots we can do, and I will look forward to doing that when I get to Congress.
All right. So are there any other issues or closing comments that you'd like to make?
Sure. I think one of the biggest things that I hear on the campaign trail is access to reproductive freedom. And reproductive freedom is absolutely essential for women in Tennessee. We have one of the most restrictive abortion bans in the country, and Mark Green supports that, and he has co-sponsored federal bills for a national abortion ban. His co-sponsor of the Life Begins at Conception Act outlaws some kinds of birth control, as well as no carve-out for IVF, and would have a federal ban on abortion. I think women need to be able to make choices with their health care between them and their physicians, and the protections of Roe v. Wade need to be restored.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Ms. Barry, and thank you for stepping up as a community leader. A reminder that Election Day is November 5th, and early voting begins on October 16. Be sure to vote.